Acts 12, verse 1 to 5, unfolds within a charged moment in Israel's history, where covenantal transition and mounting opposition intersect. Herod Agrippa I, a ruler aligned with the expectations of first century Judaism and the favor of Rome, stretches out his hand to afflict members of the church. This is not a random outbreak of violence, but a continuation of the resistance that had already risen against the proclamation the crucified and risen Christ had been enthroned as Lord. James, the brother of John, is put to death with the sword. His death stands as a testimony to the completion of his witness. The language is brief and unembellished, yet it carries weight. The apostolic mission was never grounded in the preservation of physical life, but in the fulfillment of a testimony that had already been secured in Christ. The life given to James was not ultimately measured by its duration on earth, but by its union with the risen life of Christ, a life that could not be threatened or diminished by the sword of Herod. Seeing that this act pleased the Jews, Herod proceeds to take Peter also. The narrative reveals the alignment between political power and religious expectation within that generation. The persecution arises not merely from political ambition, but from a desire to preserve an old covenant order that was passing away. The timing, during the days of unleavened bread, further highlights the setting within Israel's festal life, underscoring that these events are unfolding in the final days of that age, as the reality to which those feasts pointed had already come in Christ. Peter is arrested and delivered to 4 squads of soldiers, kept under strict guard. The intensity of the security reflects Herod's intention to make a public example of him after the Passover. Yet the irony is unmistakable. The one who is guarded most tightly is the one who stands most secure. The chains and the soldiers signify the authority of earthly rule, but they cannot bind the life that has already been raised with Christ. Peter's identity is no longer defined by his circumstances, but by his participation in a completed redemption. While Peter is kept in prison, the church is earnestly praying to God for him. This prayer is not presented as an attempt to secure a victory that is uncertain, but as an expression of dependence within a reality already established. The community gathered in prayer reflects a people who are living within the accomplished work of Christ, even as they await the visible unfolding of that work in their present circumstances. Throughout these verses, there is a contrast between what appears to be the triumph of opposition and the deeper reality of fulfillment. Herod acts, the sword falls, the prison is secure, but beneath all of this is a kingdom that has already been established, a life that has already been given, and a victory that is not contingent upon the outcomes seen by human eyes. James's death, Peter's imprisonment, and the church's prayer all exist within the same framework. The reign of Christ is not advancing toward completion. It has already been inaugurated in fullness. What unfolds in time is the manifestation of what has already been accomplished. The powers of that age, though fierce and determined, are operating within a limited and passing order, while those who belong to Christ stand within an unshakable and enduring reality. Thus, Acts 12, 1-5 presents not a story of uncertainty, but of contrast between the visible pressures of a fading age and the invisible certainty of a kingdom that cannot be moved.